And tonight, it's going down. We've been talking about this for weeks now, all right? Truth Nightclub is a place to be. You know we there every Friday, but tonight is a special night because we got the group Silk in the building, and they are here right now.
We here.
What's happening, fellas?
In the building.
Okay.
Yeah, good to see y'all. Good to see y'all.
Hey,
He said he could spell.
Feels so good.
it's good to see you and be back on your show.
Yeah, man.
That's what we
It's,
were just saying. Be back on your show.
yeah, because I interviewed y'all, talked to y'all back in the day, like 99, you know. Yeah. You like, man.
Go in the galaxy far.
Ooh, that was during that meeting in my bedroom.
Yeah. Meeting in my bedroom. Matter of fact, that hadn't even came out yet, because If You was the first single off that album. Yeah. So now, let's go back, since we talking about going back. We do throwbacks here and all that, so let's just go back, okay? I remember when you all first came out in 92. I was still in college at the time. And I remember when that Happy Days hit. And it was a good party. So I remember being at a particular house party the first time I heard it, and that James Brown Payback sample was in. It was like, this is
That was Keith Sweat.
okay.
Walker
So how did
Stewart
y'all
and Keith
end up
Sweat.
hooking up with Keith Sweat in the first place?
At a barbecue with Miss Louise Ferguson. Timzo's brother James met Louise and introduced us to her, and she introduced us to Keith and took our career from there.
Everything with the beginnings of Silk is around food.
Oh, really?
See, we were church boys, so we know when to eat.
Okay.
But what he mean by that is it was at her barbecue on the 4th of July, 92.
Well, you know what? You can never go wrong at a barbecue. It's typically some good stuff going to come out of that.
Without a doubt.
That was a good start. But as good as Happy Days was, when y'all came with the Freak Me, that just shut everybody down, man. I mean, #1 across the board, double platinum single, double platinum album.
Just like that.
Triple.
You said triple. So talk about that, because it was a lot of good groups out back then, man. But that one helped set you all apart. Talk about that whole feeling of that experience of going to that next level when y'all dropped that Freak Me.
Well, that just solidified that there's a lot of freaky people in the world. Big G?
That's what I heard. True story. 2 nights ago, I'm driving because we pulled out. I forget sometimes that they still play us on the radio. I got Talia in the back seat.
Tell you your daughter.
Freak me, come on. She go, Dad. I said, okay, I know, babe, I'm sorry. I changed the station. Freak me on another station. she said, well, Dad, she said, they play you guys a Quiet Storm at night. I said, okay, well, I'm sorry. I guess we got to stay away from radio at night when you around.
And how old is your daughter?
14.
14,
It was
okay.
a scary time for us, too, because back then, that's when the sexual, edgy side was coming in.
Exactly.
And we was one of the first ones to be blessed to do that.
Yeah.
And,
You had the R.
without
Kelly.
knowing what we were doing.
You had the H-Town. You know, you had a lot of people who were coming that way. So we just were young enough to not understand what was about to happen, but old enough to embrace it at the right time.
Right. Because the reason why I asked how old your daughter was, because it's a lot of people running around here like 24, 25 years old.
Yeah, it's a lot of silk
23.
babies. It's a lot of very specific freak me babies running around.
Exactly.
And to segue, that takes us to the next era, because if you weren't a freak me baby, then you might have been a meeting in my bedroom baby.
Yeah, Silk's slogan is go forth and multiply.
It's biblical. That what the words say. The words say go forth and multiply. We're just trying to help you out.
And you know what? I remember seeing you all performing at a club in 95. So I saw with my own eyes the reaction when y'all was singing them songs and girls was trying to climb up on the stage. And
Sound like we at Truth Nightclub already.
right.
Yeah, that sound like truth tonight.
Right, exactly.
Ain't that
We
the
need to
truth?
call James right now.
Ain't that the truth?
What's going down?
Yeah, and so it wouldn't surprise me if we see that again tonight. I mean, you know, you know,
Dallas has
It'll
been
be all right.
Dallas been more than supportive. It's like our second home.
Yeah.
We always here, even if you think we're not here, we're always around. Dallas, we love Texas.
matter of fact, if somebody asked me just yesterday, don't they live here? I said, I don't think they
We're
live
often
here.
enough. It's very easy to
Almost.
assume that. We have family and extended family here, and we've been coming and loving it for forever. So it's as close to living here as you can be without actually having an address.
Right. And we've been close to having a silk crib here a couple of times. So
Okay.
Quiet as it's kept, some of us are looking for property.
Matter of fact, I just remember something else. I remember seeing y'all here back in 2001 when I was here before. You all came in when We're Calling You was out. Yeah.
We actually recorded that whole album here.
So since you brought it up, I got to ask you, Meeting in My Bedroom, one of the things that I always credit you all for, like I said, it was a lot of good groups out back then. But one thing I specifically remember about the 90s record companies were not real patient with groups. Like I saw a lot of cats come out like Intro and Shy. They had big hits, good album the first time around, so well. Then the next one didn't do nothing, and you never heard from them again. Well, and you all had, the second album didn't do as well as the first one, but you all were able to come back and get back to that similar level with the third one, with the If You Were Meeting in My Bedroom and all of that. So talk about that whole experience, because did people try to write y'all off at the second one, or because it was a few years in between, and then y'all came back and was like, oh, dang, Silk back, okay.
We had something that bridged the gap, too, because remember, we had I Can Go Deep, and when I Can Go Deep hit with the movie
Low Down Dirty
Shame.
When that hit, I remember being with SWG, and they were like, oh, so y'all got this other hit. It's Freak Me Part 2 as far as we concerned. But it was I Can Go Deep. So we had something to bridge the gap, and that was kind of the impetus for us having to quickly rush that second album, because that song got out there and it was hot. And so Sylvia was like, look, I need this album because y'all got momentum.
Yeah, and I
Shouts out to Sylvia Wrong.
That was the time when we was going through our transformation from Kia straight to Electra as well. So we had a lot of stuff that was going on that people didn't know about, that we had to deal with, under the table and
label stuff.
Around label stuff,
Right.
It was all positive, but changed.
Yeah.
Right.
But one thing we can say that was still going strong. We was touring all over the place.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I saw y'all in a couple of different cities, so that definitely was happening.
We've been touring ever since. Since we came out.
Touring like the Temptations.
Yeah. And since we talking about touring, let's talk about your performance, because, like I said, I've seen you all a few times. I'm sure a lot of our audience saw you here back in the day. What's the difference for you all from a performance from the 90s to, say, right now?
Well, I know how you talked about earlier. You said you came to some of the shows back in the day, and they were trying to climb up the walls and climb over the stage and throw the panties. Well, now they walk up to the wall, and the girl they count to three, and they pick one girl and they let the one girl try to scale. They throw phone numbers.
Right.
They don't throw panties no more. They throw phone numbers.
Oh, okay.
Every now and then we have situations that is not appropriate.
It's funny, too, in a good way, when a pretty young lady walks up to you and she's talking to you about your music. She's like, yeah, my mother, introduced me to your music.
Right.
So it takes all the player out of your chest. Then mom comes up.
Okay.
Nice to meet you guys. Thank you for your support.
Well, hey, mothers and daughters might be in the building tonight.
From
at
generation
Truth
to generation
Nightclub.
is my point.
Right. So if you already got your tickets, we already know you're going to be there. If not, you need to come on through anyway. 9100 North Central Expressway, 75 in Park Lane. Truth Nightclub is the place to be tonight. Silk performing live.
Ain't that the truth?
You don't worry about the rain is all over with. We ain't got to worry about the weather and all that. So just come on through, and fellas, we definitely looking forward to seeing you.
Brought that sunshine up in here today.
Yeah, Big G's birthday.
Big birthday bash.
What's your sign, brother? Aries in the house.
Yeah, okay. So all the Aries, you definitely want to come out and party with Big G.
Float on, float on, float on, float. Float on.
You gonna do your part.
That ain't our record. Some of y'all records be like, yo.
That's what I was thinking.
That's older than us.
He sounds like
my name is Gary, and I'm an Aries. Is that what you want to hear? Is that what you want to hear?
No. It's Aries. And my name is Gary.
Right.
You see who know the record.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I know the record, too. I ain't want to say that.
I love him, but he know it.
Yeah, that's
trying to say.
I'm trying to say I'm happy to be here.
Who sang it?
That's the Floaters. That's the Floaters from 77.
Oh, man.
Bam.
That's why he
Real quick, I got to ask y'all this, too. I do commentary for TV One Unsung. Matter of fact, I'm about to go back out there next week to do some stuff.
Wow.
I know they was trying to get y'all on there, man. What's happening?
Man.
They asked me. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm in.
We want the movie, man.
Y'all want the movie?
No.
we wanted the life story, but Unsung is definitely on.
It's on the bucket list. But I'll say this: we not done yet. This got to be the one shout out for our estranged father.
Yeah.
He got a song right now featuring Silk, and we just happened to just crack the top 10.
Okay.
On Urban AC.
Okay.
Yeah.
But see, you ain't got to be done. See, the thing is, when you do Unsung, if you still doing new music, it just helps because that brings more attention to it.
That's what we're learning.
So
that's what we're learning.
Every group who say they done
it.
it, every artist that's done it, they say it's helped their career and helped their shows because more people coming out.
Shouts out to you, Marcus, and the producers out of L.A. that was interested and still interested in giving us that opportunity, because we know it's a big opportunity and we're definitely considering it.
All right. Okay. All right. So hopefully we will be seeing a Silk Unsung sometime soon. And whenever it happens, I'm gonna be in it. I'm gonna be talking. So
You know, you know, called out 3 years, 92, 2001, and
95.
99.
No.
You might have to be a Silk historian for that particular thing.
Hey, I started doing radio in 92, so I was there, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all was coming. I was coming at the same time y'all was. So yeah, I was right there. So tonight, Truth Nightclub, the place to be. Y'all check out Silk in the building on Boom 94.5.